Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, this literally does not work. You know, it is Monday, and I hope you tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, for our live stream, because, of course, we always get live during our live streams. We are in that period that I like to say, hold your breath, because things happen with people, with players, and you don't want to find out that one of your players is in trouble with the NFL. And briefly, I'm going to talk about Zavion Collins, first-round pick for the Arizona Cardinals, who was arrested for reckless driving. Now, they're not saying exactly what he was doing, but he was arrested for reckless driving. And, of course, he'll probably pay a fine and nothing big or anything like that. But here's the part that kind of gets me right now, because nobody's really talking about that. If a Dallas Cowboys player were arrested for anything, it would be major news. In fact, people would be calling for him to be suspended. The thing that kind of bothers me on this is not his first time having this issue. There were multiple reckless driving arrests back in 2018. But again, he's not a Dallas Cowboy player, so it doesn't really matter. So the thing that's crazy is people can drive reckless and get arrested and things like that, and it doesn't cause any issues. Our quarterback can turn around and say something as simple as, the three most important things on our team are our offensive line, that these guys are the guys that ended up being here and protecting me and got this offensive stuff going, and it becomes a controversy. That's how crazy the NFL world is, that literally a quarterback giving some love to the offensive line creates a backlash. And so as I saw this YouTube video from Get Up this morning, a couple of things that actually stood out from me is, first of all, it says, Get Up, Marcus Spears, backlash, Dak says most important Cowboys are. Let's be clear, Marcus Spears is not in this video. It's Chris Canty, another former Dallas Cowboy, although he left the Cowboys, went to Washington, I believe to Washington, and then on to New York, where he actually got a ring. So I hope that people at least get the right people, because, you know, all of us black people, you know, we're not all the same. So I want to play this clip because it's talking about the Dallas Cowboys and whether or not their offense is going to improve or where they're going to be as far as the division goes. And we have a lot of hate for the Dallas Cowboys. Mike Greenberg swears that Washington is head and shoulders better than the Cowboys, and because of their defense. And I'm going to have a rebuttal to this. Check it out.
I'm putting it nice. Mike T, the Cowboys offense this year, better, worse, or the same?
Dramatically better, because they're getting three offensive linemen back. Lyle Collins didn't play at all last year. Tyron Smith only played in 2 games. Dak Martin played in 10. And, oh, by the way, you're getting one of the 5 best quarterbacks on the planet back as well in Dak Prescott. This offense will be dramatically better than a year ago.
All right, remarkable. And Dak Prescott was actually talking about exactly that over the weekend. There were these quotes from Dak talking about the offensive linemen being the most important guys, Smith and Collins and Martin, saying they're the most important, if you ask me, from the time that I got drafted until now. This offense is built off of those guys. Just to have those 3 lead the 5 up front, everything starts with them. The run game, that allows the pass game to open up when you have those guys back healthy, energized.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. Meet Simply Unlimited, our most affordable plan for unlimited.
It's special. We are once again in that place, Dan Graziano, and you know it well, where the Cowboy fans are feeling awfully good. We call that place the off-season. They always feel that way in the off-season. Is there reason to believe this year is different?
I think there's reason to believe the offense is legitimately great, because the offensive line is coming back healthy.
Yes.
And healthier in some cases than they've been in a while. They feel like Tyron Smith, the left tackle, had enough done this offseason in terms of procedures that they corrected stuff that had been lingering for years. So Dak Prescott is seeing it and is correct in saying that the offensive line is the most important. The question, of course, is the defense. Did they improve it enough? Is Dan Quinn a good enough coordinator to make that improvement on his own with the personnel changes they made in the secondary? We won't know that until they start playing, but that's the key to their season.
No, he's absolutely right. I mean, the offense has to be an elite unit if the Cowboys expect to have championship aspirations. Otherwise, their hopes are dead on arrival. But defensively, you're talking about Dan Quinn and how important he is. This draft class that the Cowboys have is also going to have to be important. You're going to rely on young guys making significant contributions. Guys like Kelvin Joseph, their second-round pick. Third-round pick, Nashawn Wright, who's a 6'4" corner who had an outstanding offseason with OTAs and minicamp. And, of course, Micah Parsons, their first-round draft pick. Micah Parsons is going to have to come in and transform that defensive unit, similar to what we saw from Darius Leonard in 2018, where he led the league in tackles, had an all-pro season. That's what they're going to have from Micah Parsons if this Cowboys defense is going to be competitive.
Well, Mike T., you opened this, and you said in our meeting this morning you believe if those things work out, the Cowboys are the favorites in the NFC East. I would just say if you look at strength versus strength, I think Washington's defense is better than Dallas's offense. And if you look at comparative weakness versus weakness, Washington's offense is much better than Dallas's defense. I'm curious to know why you don't believe the Washington football team is the team to beat.
Yeah, I just see it differently because as Chris Canty knows, when you have two number one wide receivers like you do with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, it's hard to take two receivers away and a really good running back, which sets up play action for Dak Prescott. And on the other side of the ball, ironically, in 2015, Dan Quinn replaced, as the Atlanta Falcon head coach, Mike Nolan, who was the defensive coordinator of the Falcons. Now you move the story forward 6 years. Dan Quinn is replacing Mike Nolan again. Even if this defense is average, and I expect them to get better, as Chris alluded to, I think this defense will improve. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick has a ceiling, Greeny. So I think Washington's front seven is good. I think Dallas's offense is better. And I think Dallas's young defense will continue to improve. And I like Washington. I just think Dallas has the best quarterback in the division, and that'll be the difference at the end of the day.
We shall see. June is always an outstanding month for the Cowboys.
Okay, so here's my thing. And, you know, again, I'm a guy who is in his outside of his basement, okay? It's not my mama's house. It's my house. Well, mine and my wife. I can't forget my wife. And well, actually, the bank, they actually hold the note. So it's my house, my wife's house, and the bank's house, but not my mama's house, definitely. I keep going through and thinking about how everybody talks about how great Washington's defense is. And I am going to be on the other side of the fence because the thing is, with the schedule that they faced last year, they played very few great offenses. You understand what I'm saying? In fact, if you take the offensive rankings for points, what they averaged out to every week was 19.9. So they basically faced the 20 rated offense every week. They only played two offenses that were in the top 10, and that was the Ravens, who were at 9, and Seattle at 7. Everybody else, you got to look at, they were dogs. Now, here's the thing that gets me. And you play who's on your schedule, and they played enough and they won enough to win the division, and I'm not taking that away from them. I'm just saying that you need to pump the brakes on this thing because we act like the 85 Bears are been reincarnated in the Washington football team. And I asked you this. Would the 85 Bears have given up 30 points to the Cardinals when they averaged 25 points a game? Their season average per game was 25. Washington gave up 30. Would the 85 Bears give up 34 points to the Browns, a team that averaged 26 points a game? Would the Bears have given up 31 points to the Ravens, a team that averaged 27.3? Would the 85 Bears give up 30 points to the Rams that were averaging 22? And mind you, these aren't exactly juggernaut offenses, okay? And in fact, here's where I really say pump the brakes on Washington, because they gave up 23 and 20 points to the Giants. The Giants, who had the 29th rated offense. Let me say it again. 31st rated offense. The only offense that was worse than them was the Jets. Now, here's the thing, and you're saying, well, they only give up 23 and 20. the Giants only averaged 17.5 points a game. Washington gave up more points to the Giants and lost to them twice than the Giants scored on average for the season. I'm not ready to go ahead and say, oh, and by the way, they gave up 30 points to the Lions, a Lions team that averaged 23. So I'm not ready to go ahead and say that, the Washington football team has this great offense. I know with the statistics that they ended up being the 4th rated, but, it wasn't like they were playing great offenses to really go ahead and showcase what they're able to do. I think as they go through and they play better offenses, it shows that they're not as good as you think. It's easy to be a good offense with a rookie 6th-round drafted quarterback in Ben DiNucci getting his first start. It's easier when you're playing a Josh Rosen. It's easier when Jalen Hurts gets pulled for an old-ass veteran that's never busted a grape. So who's going to win the division? I can't say with ultimate certainty. But I'm not ready to say and go ahead and give Washington football team all of this credit and, without at least kind of looking at the full picture. Because when they play the Dallas Cowboys, that may be one of the best teams offensively that they'll face. And put into that mix that they also have to play Tampa Bay. They also have to play Buffalo. They also have to play Kansas City, some of the best offenses in football. And we'll find out if the Washington football team is really as good as everybody thinks they are. So with that being said, I'm going to get ready to roll right on out of here. And as always, I appreciate you. Commenting, subscribing, being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Yeah, and tune in 9 o'clock Eastern for our live stream.